You got it.
Me, okay.
Yeah. Michael?
You mentioned several times that you believe Republicans have a House majority due to the North Carolina gerrymander. They announced yesterday that they're going to try to draw Don Davis out of his seat. I want to get your reaction to that. And also, do you believe that Proposition 50 in California is enough to offset everything that Republicans are doing to try to redraw the map ahead of next year? And also, the Supreme Court is hearing the Louisiana redistricting case tomorrow. So I just want to get your thoughts on North Carolina, Prop 50, and the Supreme Court oral arguments tomorrow.
Well, the Supreme Court case tomorrow is going to be incredibly important, and we stand behind the civil rights community in defending the opportunity for people of every race to have an opportunity to elect a candidate or member of Congress of their choice, and to push back against the efforts by some in this country on the other side of the aisle to engage in partisan race-based gerrymandering to undermine the ability of Black, brown, or Asian communities in the country to be able to select their representative, as opposed to having extremists draw lines so that their representative can be effectively selected for them. We're going to be watching closely that Supreme Court oral argument tomorrow, and I stand behind Representative Cleo Fields, whose district is the subject of the litigation. And we also, of course, stand behind the civil rights community's efforts to preserve both Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, as well as the 14th Amendment protections against racial gerrymandering and undermining the ability of communities of color to elect the candidates of their choice. We're going to win Prop 50 in California, and I'm thankful for the tremendous leadership of the California congressional delegation, the people of California, Governor Newsom, and the coalition of folks who have come behind the effort to push back against what Republicans have maliciously done in Texas in trying to rip 5 seats away from Democrats as part of their effort to gerrymander the maps and rig the midterm elections. We are not going to let Republicans successfully rig the midterm elections. California is just the first Democratic state to respond. It will not be the last. We've got to win Prop 50. We will. And we're making the point simply as we communicate with the people of California, yes, on Prop 50 to stop Trump from stealing the election. And the Republicans know they're on the verge of losing Prop 50. That is just the beginning of the Democratic response. And we will respond forcefully across the country. Now, you are correct about North Carolina, and it's important for everybody to understand. This whole notion that we're in the midst of a Republican wave, a sea change politically, notwithstanding what happened in a bitterly disappointing election in November of 2024, but the notion of that myth that Republicans have tried to perpetrate is belied by the fact that Republicans currently have the narrowest majority of any party since the Great Depression. The narrowest majority since 1931, as I understand it. A 3-seat majority. Once Rep-elect Adelita Grijalva is sworn in, that should be happening today, by the way. But they're running scared because of their efforts to continue to hide the Epstein files from the American people. But Republicans have a 3-seat majority. They wouldn't even have their 3-seat majority. They wouldn't even be in the majority right now had North Carolina not already engaged in mid-decade partisan gerrymandering last year. Because we know North Carolina is a 50-50 state, has a Democratic governor, Democratic lieutenant governor, Democratic attorney general, Democrat just won a close state Supreme Court race, all on the same day that Donald Trump narrowly won in November of 2024. And in North Carolina, before they engaged in vicious mid-decade gerrymandering to affect this Congress, in this 50-50 state, the North Carolina delegation, 14 members, was 7 Democrats and 7 Republicans. They then ripped 3 seats away from the people of North Carolina last year. And on January 3rd of this year, changed the delegation to 10 Republicans and 4 Democrats. That's their majority right now. They didn't even legitimately win in an election where everything at the top of the ticket was breaking for them. And they had to rely on stealing 3 seats from the people of North Carolina to artificially create their majority right now. This is why you can't take these people seriously in terms of any policy high ground in the House that they may claim to have. It's non-existent. So the question then becomes, they've already gerrymandered the map in North Carolina. And because Donald Trump, their boss, ordered them to go back and try to create an additional seat, this is what they're going to try to do. We're going to make sure that Representative Don Davis is reelected in North Carolina, and Democrats are going to take back control of the House of Representatives.
Leader Jeffries.
Leader Jeffries.